Yeah, so we break down these six shifts in the book, and it's probably too much to talk through all of them. But I'll give you a sense for them. And they start with a rule that society says that, and then the renegade says, "I'm going to do something different." And then you get to the point where that's not working, and you need to shift them just a little bit. Um, it's worth noting that some some renegade leaders naturally make these shifts, but usually it's like they make four of the six shifts and the other two are holding them back, or three of the six shifts and the other three are holding back. So some are naturally wired more toward different ones of these, but the first rule of society tells us is play the hand you're dealt. And the renegade says, I'll bet on myself. And then we come along, and the subtle shift we need to make is to teach the organization how to bet, and so that the founder's not making all the bet. And that's the design shift. And we talk about betting with intention, right? So if you think about Vegas, you sit down at the table, you've got a fixed number of chips. Those are your resources. You can put them on 34 red. I don't even know if 34 is red. 34 red. But there's opportunity costs, because if I put them all there, then I'm not putting any other. So sometimes we split the pile in half or in fours and put it different places. And then the return from that risk better be worth it, right? We need to believe that we're going to get some return for this investment in the resources. And our resources could just be our time, our focus, the humans that we have, the thinking time that we have. All those little things are ways that we can learn to bet with intention. The second one's, the world says, don't quit your day job. Don't quit your day job. And the renegade says, I'll dance to the beat of my own drum. Right? It's like, I don't, it doesn't matter what music you put on. I'm gonna go do my thing the way I want to do it. And what we teach in this shift here is to be more like a jazz bassist. So that this is the cadence shift, and the shift is to set the baseline. So in a great jazz, no matter if you have two people in a jazz band or 100, that bassist is setting the baseline, and all the improv is happening on top of that. And the baseline sets the cadence, so we kind of know what to expect. So within an organization, most renegade founders don't have a whole lot of cadence. The cadence comes and goes with their energy and what's most important today. And so there's not a whole lot of predictability, but it's actually dignifying to the people that work around us to give them some consistency. Some people crave consistency, security, routine. So if we can just set the baseline, that gives us lots of room to improvise. So like, hey, we're going to run on quarterly objectives. Hey, we're going to have a weekly team meeting. Hey, we're going to have quarterly coaching. Those sorts of things that become rhythmic within the business. Am I going too fast or too slow through these?
Your perfect pace.
All right. I guess we are going through all of them. So rule number 3 is know what you're getting yourself into. Self-explanatory, but the renegade says, I'm going to go with my gut. And this is one of the key things that happens when you get into the founder gap. Is historically, you do know the right answers. You do know what is going on because you're kind of connected to it, attached to it. And you've got this sense of intuition about what's happening, what's not happening, what needs to happen. But as the organization grows, you get abstracted from some of the layers of the organization. And so your gut is not scalable for the organization. So this shift is the score shift, and it's to know when we're winning. So if we can figure out what our key activities are, our key metrics are, Will, you're responsible for this. This is how we're going to measure it. I used to totally shun that as an entrepreneur because I wanted my organization to be fun and not, bureaucratic and restrictive. And that felt demeaning. And now I'm like, man, that is such a gift of dignity for you to know if you're winning or not in your job. So I myself, this is one that I big time had to go through, is letting the organization, all the teams, the individuals be really clear on what it looks like and to know if they're winning or not. The fourth rule is, culture says, be patient, be patient, be patient, and you just might get lucky. And the Renegade goes, I'm going to make my own luck, right? I'm going to go figure out how to make my own luck. And that works for a while. And then the shift here is the destination shift. So instead of me making my own luck and figuring it out, we need to start with the end in mind. So how do we go out and get really clear on where we're going together and why that matters? That's the big thing that a lot of people leave out. So this destination has three critical elements. Where are we going? When are we going to get there, and why? You've heard Simon Sinek. Everybody listening to this has heard Simon Sinek do the start with why. That's exactly on point. The when sets the pace. Because if I say we're going to get to $40 million in 3 years versus we're going to get to $40 million in 10 years, that has implications to the pace we have to go. The decisions, the effort, the capital requirements, it sets the pace for that decision. So that destination shift, starting with the end in mind, working your way backwards, but making sure that you're clear on the purpose. Like, why is this a big enough goal that it creates a big enough story that we can all find a role in the story? Rule number 5, don't make a scene. Don't make a scene. Will, don't make a scene. Benj, don't make a scene. I definitely heard that one growing up. And the Renegades, I gotta be me. I gotta be me. Like, even if I'm not trying to make a scene, but I can't not be me, right? Well, that works. And most small, founder-led organizations take on the personality of the founder, right? Again, not real scalable. So the ethos shift, the fifth shift, the ethos shift is we got to do we. We go from I got to be me to we got to do we. And so when we go, I got to do we, then we have a sense of clarity of who we are as an organization, like the identity of the organization. One of the things we talk about there is that fitting in is always driven by fear. And standing out is always driven by purpose. And so if we can figure out what we look like when we do everybody in the organization gets clear, and it empowers them to make decisions on behalf of the company that are congruent with the identity and character of the organization. And then the last one, rule 6, is almost all encompassing because it actually touches the other 5. That's why we saved it for last. So it's not really a sixth of the equation. It's really like 80% of the equation, but it interweaves with the other 5. And that rule 6, the world says it matters who you work for. What's the number one reason that people leave jobs? Well, they don't like their manager, right? So it really matters who you work for. The Renegade goes, fine, I'll work for myself. Right? That's an easy solution. I can solve that. At least I can control that guy. I might not even like him, but at least I can control him. So I'm going to work for myself. And the people shift says, we work together. It's not I work for you, you work for me. It's we work together. And so it starts with engineering the culture that we believe we want to have now and as we grow up. So it can be a little aspirational. We're going to grow into this culture. And it's the place that we believe is going to help people thrive and become the best versions of themselves. And then we talk about the problems are no longer yours to solve as the Renegade leader. You've got other people that are actually better suited to solve some of the problems that you used to have to solve. And then the people aren't yours to lead. We kind of already talked about that. That's our aggressive way of saying that your primary job as a leader is to lead yourself well. And it's about who you show up as and how you can show up for others in any role of influence or leadership. So all of those shifts work together. And there's a underlying thread, I mentioned it a few times, of dignity within each of these. So bet with intention, we're giving the dignity of giving everybody the clarity of what we're trying to do in the organization and how we're going to do it. Set the baseline, the dignity of consistency. Know when you're winning, the dignity of success. Start with the end in mind, the dignity of why this matters. We got to do the dignity of identity. We work together, the dignity of humanity, and remembering that all of this, the reason that my heart beats so hard for entrepreneurs is, one, I've been there and I've been in their shoes. But the bigger drive is the ripples that these renegades make in their communities and the lives of the people that they get to interact with. I don't think there's a better place to work than small business America. And that, I don't think there's a better place than small business America to actually grow the people in our community, to impact their families, the philanthropy that happens out of that community impact. So the ripples that have the potential to take place from people getting unstuck as a renegade founder and moving to a renegade leader are infinite.